We have an anonymous $50 donation. Vote Zelda randomizer for next GDQ. We have an anonymous $12.12 donation. Hi SGDQ. Here's my birthday cash, and thanks for being the best background noise for moving all this apartment furniture around. Please read this so my boyfriend knows that I'm helping my best. Thank you and keep up the great work. And save the animals. I'm a vegan. Cow emoji, rabbit emoji, octopus emoji. We have a $100 donation from Molder TPC. Second time watching. Great event. Great streams. Goonies 2 is a game I played over and over as a kid. Nice to see it played. We have an anonymous $30 donation. Good day from Australia. Even though it's currently 10 p.m. here, so good night for Australia? I don't know, words are hard. Anywho, love what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work and have fun doing so. Quick shout out to Red Split because he asked me to do so. We have a $100 donation from Good Cat. Second time donating for GDQ. Putting this towards Mega Man 8 on Sega Saturn. Good luck, runners. And remember, we do need about $3,000 total. We have about $1,200 for that currently to play Mega Man 8 on the Sega Saturn. It is more difficult and has extra stages featuring Cutman and Woodman, so get those donations in so we can see that. We have an anonymous $10 donation. Greetings from Yorkshire. As a fellow classically trained singer, I feel obligated to put some money towards them singing the Star Spangled Banner, even though I myself am British. Yep, we can get that in too so we can hear some Star Spangled Banner on the 4th of July during Ratchet and Clank. We have a $50 donation from Future Hero. You guys picked the perfect time to do SGDQ. I just ran into your VOD content on YouTube the other week, and I decided to check it out when the next event was, and I've been hyped for the last week or so because I happen to have a little extra, and I love what you folks do. May the RNG be ever in your favor. We have a $5 donation from Ando. Slay the animals and save the frames. Shout out to Wookie Mouse.
chicken and waffles already good. Yeah. So is that actually? I don't have to look at anything else. It's not chicken. Is that actually? That is his name. DW did not make that pun. There's an error in his schedule coming up. He forgot to. There's an error in the schedule. The runner's name is error72.
I would like to say I think more of DW is not making that pun. I don't realize.
I'm just disappointed that he didn't do that.
Hello, GDQ.
Hey, GDQ.
I'm error72. This is Off the Blues. I'm going to be playing Claymates.
He'll be playing Claymates. I'll be watching Claymates.
Yep. So this is be 80% warpless. And I think we're ready to go. So we'll be going in 3, 2, 1, go. So story of this game, basically you get turned into a clay ball. Then you got to go save your dad. And luckily there's this formula around that turns you into all these cute little animals. So color-coded to our convenience. So there's 5 animals. And the first animal is Uzi the Mouse. No redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Except for, you know, blinding fast speed. The thing about this game is that you basically have 3 status levels. You have just the blue ooze, which is no powers. And then you have an animal, so that's your second level. And then if you collect another orb for that animal, you will get an orbital weapon. So a little ball will fly around your character, and you can shoot it out as a projectile, and it'll come back to you, sort of like a boomerang.
So second animal we get is Muckster the Cat. Jumps pretty high, has a very fast attack speed, can climb up trees, which gets used a couple of times. This is the orbital, lets me take another hit, which I will take right here. On the HUD, you'll see in the upper left hand corner there's stars which represent extra lives, there's a timer, there's gems, and then there's icons in the upper right hand, triangle, circle, square. They let me open up, if I pick up the icon, let me open up purple boxes with that same icon on it. At the end of each level, there's a short little puzzle section where I have to guide the robots to pick up like an axe to chop down the trees so I can go to the next level. The robots, if they run into something, they try and turn to the right. They can't turn to the right, they turn to the left. They can't turn to the left, they come back the way they came.
This game's sort of a product of the era. I feel like the 90s were filled with these platformers that were extremely busy, a ton of content, maze-like. Stages weren't just left to right, they were just really circuitous. And
so end of each stage, you see I get turned back into the clay ball, and there's a little wheel that has the letters clay on it, C-L-A-Y. If I spell out clay during the run, I go to a bonus game, which wastes 4 minutes. So I really don't want to go there. If I also collect 100 gems, I also go to a much shorter bonus level. And I'm going to try and pick up as few gems as possible because there's a countdown timer at the end that counts down all my gems. But it's really short, so I don't go out of my way to dodge it if I just lose time other places. So this level has a bunch of switches in it that turns off poisonous gas. I'm supposed to go around all throughout the level and try and turn all those off so I can advance in the level, but that's kind of slow, so we're going to skip all that portion and just go through there. So this is clay ball form. Pretty slow overall. There's landing lag, but I'm punching every time I land in order to keep my momentum. Saves, you know, a few frames every time I do it.
but we're always happy when we get the mouse back.
So I picked up the triangle in level 2 to spawn that hammer to pause all the enemies there. Otherwise I have to wait for them to go by so I can actually damage boost through there. And we go to the first boss, which is a flying dog, but we get Globmeister the Gopher to help us fight him. Eat those nuts. That's about all he does. And he's dead. Rip Finker Z.
Not too bad. This game has extremely questionable hitboxes, both for other enemies that you're facing off against, whether or not they hit you or you're capable of hitting them, or even platforms. I mean, it's totally possible in this game actually just to fall through the floor, and not in like the cool fun way like in some games where you get to fall to a later portion of the level and, you know, everyone's really proud of themselves because you figured out a way to beat the level faster, but usually you just fall through the floor and die.
So there's 18 stages in the game separated across 5 areas. There's the first 4 areas have 4 levels in it. The last area has 2 levels in it. The switch areas, you get in the cannon and get shot across the world. This is the Pacific. Every bad platformer has to have water levels. So we got 4 mostly water levels coming up. Also, this game has way too many puns for a platformer.
Starting to border on Bubsy levels. This game has a bit of a storied history. Prior to Error picking this game up, the only other instances of people trying to learn it, to my knowledge, are first SS Skinner a long time ago attempted to pick it up and ended up giving up the dream because this game is too frustrating. And then shortly after that, I tried to pick up this game and gave up because this game is too frustrating. And then Error had expressed interest in learning this game, and I told him, give up, this game is too frustrating. And now we're here.
Why didn't I listen? It's okay. So, this is the most RNG portion of the game. Those orange fish, they're completely random. And the fish power, which is Goopy the fish, is can't attack above or below him, and water levels tend to have vertical sections with them. So it gets kind of annoying sometimes trying to get around the fish in order to keep my fish power, because none of the other animals can swim. If any of the other animals fall in the water, they drown after 10 seconds. Just like the fish takes damage if he's above water for 10 seconds.
Yeah, the water sections in this game tend to be intensely frustrating. You would think that they would create, you know, for all of the animal forms that you can turn into, you'd think that the fish would be very well suited to the underwater sections, but just because of the difficulty in attacking, it's not designed to be... I mean, there's no animal that's really designed to be able to handle the water sections properly, I guess is my point, despite there being a fish.
The fish is much faster than the clay ball, don't get me wrong, but clay ball can just handle enemies just much better. Except clay nose sharks. Yeah, that's their official name.
We have a $100 donation from Sir George. It says, go Error! Donation goes to Error's Choice.
We need some more demon chocobo in our lives.
We have a $10 donation from Kami. I've been waiting for a Claymates run for years. Save the Clayminals. Clay animals.
So at the gate here, I get a big burst of speed after I turn into the clay ball. It's kind of weird. I have to take my thumb off the run button to actually go fast out of that gate, because otherwise I just go at my normal running speed, but that's quite a bit quicker. So still got some pretty simple puzzles, but they get a little bit more complex coming up. So I'm going to try and jump before my character hits the ground here, save a little bit of time there. It's harder to do on some levels than others, but this will allow me to skip this eel cycle, save like half a second. those potions, you saw them in level 4, but they're invincibility. Lets me scream through this section. So the fish's attack, it's a bubble that goes out in front of him and starts rising towards the surface. But if you use it above the water, it actually sinks. And that was an instance of I wasn't avoiding that hit because the orange fish was directly below me. Also, the graphics in this game, you may have noticed this green patch. There's an orange fish hiding behind it that almost got me. So, more frustration factors of this game.
There you go. There's a perfect example of what I was trying to get at.
And that's a trollfish. So everyone puts mines in their bay to kill all these little clay balls.
Oh, nice. You got the Y.
I got the Y. I'm going to get that later anyway. So these puzzle sections are a good time for donations.
We have a $10 donation from Snow Silvercat. Wow, Claymates! I played this game like crazy as a kid. I didn't even realize anyone else knew it existed. Uzi for MVP.
Yes, sir.
There's something really unique about this game because the mouse is the first animal you encounter in the game. And if you're looking at this game for speedrun potential, within the first 10 seconds, you've already firmly established that you want to speedrun this game. That mouse is so fast. And this game robs you of that joy really quickly.
I admit it, the mouse was entirely the reason why I picked up the game. It's a bit of a bummer I got hit there, so now I have to wait on these clay spikes, but it's okay. This is the 4th level of the area, so there's going to be a boss at the end of it. It's very important that I keep at least 1 level of my fish power when I get to it. You'll see why when I get to him. Also, the fish actually runs faster on land than the clay ball does. So it's okay if I take 1 more hit here, but I should be home free to the boss. So I've got my little orbital, so I can easily kill this shark. Otherwise, I have to dodge him because it's really hard to kill without the orbital because he takes 2 hits. So this boss, it's a giant clam. That actually is kind of a 2-part boss. First you have to kill the eyes, and then you have to kill the body itself. It's extremely hard to hit the eyes without the orbital, because otherwise the body blocks your bubble shots. So, again, this boss is basically impossible if you don't have these powers. I'm trying to stay in the middle of the arena because there's vents on the side that have more fish powers, but they waste like 20 seconds to go down them. I would have to if I didn't have the orbital. But that's level 4. We're done with the water world. Yay!
Finally, going back to going fast. Fast.
Faster. It's be a good time for donations.
We have a $20 donation from Chris. Greetings from Vietnam. First-time viewer after watching SGDQ replays for the last 4 months. My brother and I struggled with this game as a kid, so it's great to see it played right.
So we're on our way to Area 3, which is Japan. It's actually the hardest area in the game because it contains an enemy called Samurai. Takes 3 hits to kill the giant, and they're pretty random. They'll jump randomly after swinging their sword, and like I say, they're huge, so actually getting around them and killing them is slow. And despite enemies flashing when you hit them, you don't have immunity going through them. Just because they're flashing, you still take damage if you touch them. So this is Dodo the bird. D-O-H, D-O-H. More like, don't. Has limited flying. But you only have him for like 5 seconds the first level. But we'll see more of him this world. Just like we only get the mouse for 5 seconds right here. This level brought to you by the little Y.
I guess there's really no avoiding that.
It's either the Y or the A. So these puzzle sections, they introduce teleporters. If the robot touches the teleporter, he ends up in this little area right here, and then I have to send it back to the start. It is possible for the robots to get stuck, but you can punch them on the overworld to send them back to start. So this is quite possibly the hardest level in the game. You only get one power-up to do it fast, which is this starting bird power-up, and I have to fly through the level while dodging something like 10 samurai. Oh well. They got a little bit greedy there, and the platform didn't rise enough for me to hit the samurai. Usually when you hit big enemies, they turn around, but I expected the samurai there to jump and slow himself down, and he didn't, so it's okay.
The game can be pretty punishing like that. I mean, when you get hit by something, rather than, you know, just losing health, you lose your ability to maneuver and fight, so.
It's a fun thing about your normal attack. You can't actually hit multiple enemies at a time with it, even if the attack hitbox does so. So, despite my attack going through both enemies there, I only hit one of them. Didn't get enough P speed there, but that's okay. So, this game has poor level design. That little green box I just passed, that's a checkpoint. It is literally impossible to die past that point. Unless you run out of time, which I have 8 minutes and 50 seconds left.
So you'd have to try to run out of time.
Right. Because falling, you get 15 gems. So at the end of the bonus section, I'm doing jumping there because you have landing lag, and after you go through the gate, you actually can't attack anymore. So in order to avoid the landing lag, I just keep jumping. So you can speed the robots up. Speeding the robots up early does not make the second robot spawn faster, and so sometimes I'll keep the robots slow until they both spawn so they stick together pretty close, like right there. Other times I want the first robot to have a big lead because I need to manipulate the obstacles to for them to reach the different axes of bombs. It is possible to keep your invincibility to the sumo wrestler, but I messed up one of the jumps and it's kind of sub-pixel random anyway. It's very important I keep the bird here because I skip a good portion of the level with the flight coming up. God dang it. Just going to go ahead and die. It's actually faster for me to kill myself right there in order to get my bird back instead of going around the level. So while I'm doing this section again, it's a good time for donations.
We have $50 from Jackie Cub. Yo, sending love from Cambridge. You guys are working towards a great cause, and I hope the RNG will be forever in your favor. Also, happy independence from us. You deserve it. We have $5 from Valo Muli. This is the best entertainment for my holidays. Cheers from Finland. P.S. Keep up the good work.
So we actually flew that time. Backtrack just a little bit for the mouse, but mouse go fast. Try and board this platform on the far right to give myself enough run speed to try and skip all these spikes without taking a hit, which I did, so that's actually pretty nice, so I can go through the rest of the level without having to worry about taking a hit. So that's the third level of Japan. Next level is a boss level. Beginning of the level is really annoying. It's a maze section. If you don't know, this game is very difficult to play casually because the levels are huge. I'm going through them pretty quickly because I know exactly where to go to reach the end of the level. But there's like secret areas and just full of gems all over the place. But I don't need the gems in the speedrun. There's really nothing worth picking up in the secret areas to be worth going for them. So it's very important I don't fall in this first pit here. If I fall in the first pit, I lose 30 seconds. If I fall in the second pit, I lose 8.
We have a $50 donation from Jason. Claymates is a childhood favorite of mine, even though I've never seen the end of this game. Thanks for running it. I always feel like nobody remembers this game.
So we're coming up on the boss. It's a giant spider. The mouse is good at a lot of things, but fighting bosses is not one of them. So we go ahead and pick up the bird power up. And tries to land on me, drops a bunch of little spiders. If I do really well, I can 2-cycle it. And I'm like 1 hit away. My bad. 2 hits away. Just as well because flying to the gate is faster than waiting for the platforms anyway. And we got a bit of a long puzzle coming up, so be a good time for donations.
We have a $5 donation from BR Beeps. I know what I'll be watching for the next week. Great runs so far. Are any other Australians getting flashbacks to the amazing show right now? They used to play this game on the show sometimes. We have an anonymous $25 donation. A massive thank you for everyone running this event. Always a joy to watch and always a worthy cause. Good luck to the runners.
So this is Area 4. This is Africa. It's a bit more maze-like than all of the other areas, but the enemies are actually much easier compared to Japan. But the platforming is quite a bit more difficult. This is also the only video game that has deadly coconuts. But they're all so happy. So the new enemy type are these like jungle tribesmen. They throw spears at you, but they die in 1 hit, so they're not that difficult. But the only form that can duck under them is the mouse. Every other form, including the clay ball, despite being short, will take a hit. So it's about a 50-50, me landing on that leaf right there, which is nice. So I can damage boost through up here, instead of having to wait for all the, I don't know what to call them, pizza pie wheels?
Yeah.
or manhole covers. Manhole covers are pretty well, you know, situated in jungle Africa. And you just saw me push a robot there with the cart. That puzzle is actually already solved for you. I could have just went up to the corner and waited for the robots to go around the area and spend about 15 seconds waiting for them to go through it. But I used the cart and pushed one of the robots into one of the axes and shortened the puzzle by about 10 seconds. This is probably the most annoying stage in the game because it gives you a mouse and it doesn't give you any room to run.
This stage also has some of the, as I mentioned before, some of the more questionable hitboxes and collision detection on platforms and falling through the stage and things like that.
Not to mention, it's extremely maze-like. There's exactly one path through the level. All these teleporters that I'm skipping, except the one I went in, take you back further back in the level.
Right.
So let's see if I make this jump here. Oh no, I got eaten for a damage boost.
Nice.
It is possible to make that jump, but it's like frame perfect and I'm likely to take 2 hits anyway trying it. So it's just a lot easier to just take the damage boost through the Venus Clay Trap. Yes, that's its official name.
If the game hasn't made it apparent, everything's themed after clay. I don't know if you guys followed that trend.
Speaking of which, there's $5 from Bad Breaks, who says, "Good luck, Error, on claiming your victory, mate." Kill the animals.
Don't worry, guys. There's only 2 more puzzle sections in the game. This is probably the easiest hard level in the game, if that made any sense. It doesn't look too hard, but one little mistake and everything just goes horrible. 'Cause the only animal I have for a while is the cat with no orbital. I lied. We're gonna go get the gopher. So the only animal I have for a while is the gopher. I have to play this a little safe because the cat has a better jump, so I can jump down safely there with him. But as the gopher, he can't make it quite as far, and I'm liable to land on a frog. It does make it a little bit slower because the cat can like skip a few of these jumps, but the gopher doesn't jump nearly as high, so I was kind of hoping we wouldn't see him again. But that's okay. So another mouse that we don't get to take advantage of because we have him for exactly like 5 seconds. So this puzzle is where cart pushing becomes really important because I actually don't know how to solve this puzzle normally. I have no idea how much time that saves because I don't know how to do it normally. So, unfortunately, this level starts with an auto-scroller that lasts about a minute. Just riding these little blocks around the lava. I moved the cat as far forward as possible on the block because these fireballs, they're not on global timer. They have spawned in when you scroll them on screen, so they're much easier to dodge when I'm on the front of the block. But other than that, there's also a jump that can save me 6 seconds, but if I miss it, I lose 50. and I don't think you want to see that much of the auto-scroller again, so I'm not going to try it. But other than that, good time for donations.
We have a $111.11 donation from About a Dirk. Greetings from Sydney, Australia. Long-time viewer, first-time donator. Had to donate during my favorite game of all time. Been losing sleep because of you guys. Save the frames, kill the animals, and hype. There, I covered all the cliches, didn't I? We got $30 donations from the Moonlit Abyss. Tune in every year. Keep up the good work, guys. We have an anonymous $50 donation. I love what you guys are doing. I would love to hear some fantastic singing during this fantastic 4th. Shoutouts to my buddies Shark and Mabel.
So we made it past the auto-scroller. Was able to skip one gym during the auto-scroller, saves me like 1 frame. Shoutouts to shoddy hitboxes right there. Phased right through that block. So, final little fish section of the game. If I fall in there as the mouse, I get about halfway through before I lose both of my hits. So coming up is the second to last boss. If I had, not skipped through the intro cutscene, you would know that this is the Witch Doctor, which turned into a clay ball. He's the easiest boss of the game. So, the only part of his hitbox that actually damages you is his staff. And normally he would swing his staff and he would electrify one of the clouds in the sky, but I do enough damage that he teleports away because of damage, and yeah. So there's their old dad, Professor Putty. He tells us that the formula that turns us back into a human was taken by Martians in space. Because. I don't know either.
That has just ruined my entire suspension of disbelief.
So this is the final puzzle of the game. It's the only 2-screen puzzle of the game. Doing this normally is hard. Apparently doing it fast is hard too, because I messed up right there. But I'm going to push this robot there to pick up that bomb. The second part of the puzzle is much easier. Just got to make sure I beat the robot here to the rock. And we're off to space. So coming up might be my favorite level. It's entirely a mouse level. Throughout the level, there's really no secret areas in this level. The exit is in the upper right-hand corner, but it's guarded by a bunch of electrical sparks. So I need to go around the level and hit a bunch of these switches to turn most of them off. There's a couple of them I can skip, but there's only one switch that's really out of the way, and it just makes it a lot easier if I don't have to worry about, taking 2 damage boosts instead of just 1. So these little Martian enemies, probably the hardest enemy in the game. They have a laser gun, they have a vacuum attack that draws you in, and they're basically almost impossible to jump over. But you can get them in a loop. Every time you jump, they jump, so they're pretty easy to kill. But they take 3 hits, so I want to skip most of them. It is actually possible to turn the switches back on, So if I jump on a switch and then jump on it again, it'll turn the spark back on. Bad for obvious reasons.
Yeah, not sure why you'd want that.
So I could have fallen in a pit earlier there to go to the final switch, but since there's only the single electrical spark left, I can get through it. No problem. My splits call this level That Dumb Auto-Scroller. Interplay had a perfectly fine game until they decided to give you a ship with a giant hitbox that shoots fireballs, 2 at a time.
And one hit kill.
One hit kill. There's no health power-ups here. There's one particular enemy type that is extremely difficult to hit. This would be the one level. If you told me that I was going to die in a level, this would have been it. So I just passed by the hard enemy. That was kind of an intro to them. It's the little purple meteor things that encircle these like spike balls. I get close in order to try and get as many shots on screen as possible to snipe them. But that's kind of hit or miss sometimes, and sometimes I'm just so close that I just get sniped myself. So this is the checkpoint. We got about a minute and a half of auto-scroller left, so if you have some donations, now's a good time.
We have $10 from Sigrid. Ahoy there, SGDQ. Thank you for this awesome event. Let's make Mega Man 8 last a little longer, shall we? Shout out to my friend Lars who told me about this event. Good luck to all the runners and everyone else involved, and also save those dang animals. Lots of love from Norway. We have an anonymous $25 donation. First time donating. Thanks for being a good distraction while I'm cleaning the house. Keep up the good work. We have $5 from Arclante. Come on, we need to give more, guys. That was a comment, by the way. That was not for me. We have an anonymous $100 donation that says, "This Claymates run is amazing." We have $25 from Skip Sandwich. It says, "Great event so far. This goes to Error's Choice."
Demon Chocobo. So this is final boss. I shoot him in the face a bunch of times. He fires lasers at me, but they really aren't a problem. Time will come up when I enter the store here. In time. Best ending ever. You turn into, I'm a real boy now. And then you run by the spaceship that takes you back to Earth, and then you're all of a sudden in the spaceship without a helmet. I don't know.
Well, that's
Anyway,
Claymates.
That's Claymates. I think we have ActRaiser next. Stick around for that. Thanks very much for having me. Continue enjoying the show.